Hi, this is Mike from Kosmic Sound. Today we're going to be looking at the Pioneer DDJ-S1, which is the Serato Itch controller from Pioneer. In my previous video we looked at the DDJ-T1, so today we'll be running through some of the features here with the S1 and why you may want to consider this as your next controller. First thing we'll notice is that the DDJ-S1 looks very similar to the DDJ-T1. The layout is very much the same, but we've obviously got a few things that have been adapted to work better with the Serato Itch layout. Up the top, we've got the needle search function, which allows you to control where you are in the track with your fingertips. Down the left-hand side, we have our hot cues, 5 in total. So they work simply by picking a place in the track and hitting the button where you'd like that hot cue to be. Directly to the right of that we have the vinyl speed adjust, which works very, very similar to like on a CDJ. We can basically control the speed at which the vinyl setting powers up and powers down. Cool if you want to get long startup or long power down sort of effect. So we can see underneath that Pioneer have decided to include with the S1 the jog mode function. So the jog mode button, which works again very similar to a CDJ. When lit, we can jog in vinyl mode, which allows us to scratch and to pitch bend. Without it lit, we can just use it as a jog wheel. We also have the master tempo button underneath, which allows you to lock the pitch of the track regardless of the tempo at which the track is playing. Also included on the DDJ-S1, unique to the DDJ-S1, is the inclusion of slip mode. Slip mode is also on the CDJ-900s, and what it'll actually allow you to do, whilst in vinyl mode, you can use scratch style effects and it will actually resume the track as if the scratch never occurred. So we also have the ability to run the track in reverse, and this can work particularly well with slip mode engaged. So say you have slip mode on, then run the track in reverse, it will resume the track as if you hadn't put the track in reverse. It's just really cool for bleeping out swear words and things like that. To the left of that we have our looping section. This works very, very similar to the looping section on the DDJ-T1. It will allow you to manually input a loop, like on a CDJ, in and out, but it will also give you the option to choose 4, 8, 16 bars, whatever you like, and it will input that loop to a quantized beat. To exit, simply press the loop button again. Now, to the left of the jog wheel, we have the shift function. This is in the same position as on the DDJ-T1, but it has a completely different set of functions on the DDJ-S1. Primarily, it's used to control the beat grids. What it'll allow you to do is basically place grid markers where the downbeat of the track is. And this will allow you to basically align your 2 beats based on the grid markers and give you much more accurate representation of where you are. To do that, all we have to do is use the jog wheel or the needle search to align ourselves to the first beat. Now, by holding the shift key, we can use the loop in button. Underneath you'll see it says set. So basically what that means is you can set where the grid marker starts. So as soon as you do that, you'll see that the white lines appear underneath where it thinks the beat is. Also, while the track is in motion, you can use the shift, the button next to it, loop out, or tap. You can basically tap the beat markers as you're moving. You can jog this manually, so widen it or shorten it while it's in motion. We can hold the shift button, use the jog dial to increase the size of the grid markers manually, or by using the slide function, which is also the auto loop knob next to the clear. We also have, in line with our grid markers, the sync button down to the bottom right of each deck. So once you've got all your grid markers set, this can be really, really useful way to make sure that your 2 beats are perfectly in line. Just by hitting that sync button, we'll automatically sync to the BPM or the beat markers of the other track. So that pretty much wraps up the CDJ section of the DDJ-S1. Once again, we've got Pioneer's proprietary faders for the tempo control, the jog wheel, and their really, really nice cue and playback buttons, which feel fantastic. Moving into the mixer section now, we'll obviously notice the massive change that it is a 2-channel controller. It's not a 4-channel like the DDJ-T, and the effects section has been reworked and changed quite a lot. Now the way it works, we've got the FX channel select up the top, so whichever channel you would like the effects to be set to. underneath. We can choose which select we like. We've got a few really quality effects here. Underneath that, our master parameter control, so control the individual parameters of each effect, and then of course the master level and depth underneath. The on and off switch sits directly below that, and we also have a tap control, so we can manually tap in the intervals at which the effects take place in the track. But of course, effects are only as useful as they are usable. So probably the best example I can give is with them live. We have the high pass, low pass, phaser, flanger, tremolo, repeater, reverser, breaker, crusher, and the delay. Directly in the center, we have our 2 master faders for each channel, 3-band EQ, so low, mid and high, and a trim up the top controlling our gain. We have our master level controls for headphones and your master output, of course, in the center, very much the same as on the DDJ-S1. And up the top, we have our big browse knob, which allows us to scroll through everything on the screen. To the left and right of the browse knob, we have quite a few more options as far as how we can browse our crates and files. This sits very in line with how Serato works and allows you to really make the most of browsing through your crates without using the mouse. You've got the files button, which brings up your master root files and browse selections. You've got your crates section, which will take you directly to your crates, so your pre-prepared crates. And you've also got prepare and browse. So this will correspond with the individual tabs up the top of Serato and Itch. On this Pioneer controller, we have a total of 2 mic ports, one on the top left of the controller and one hidden away on the back here. With each microphone port, we have a 3-band EQ and level control, which is independent. We can also assign the effects control to each individual mic port as well, mic or auxiliary in. On the front of the unit, we have the option to switch between the mic or auxiliary through, so for switching between your microphone or an iPod or whatever else you might want to plug into it, and the mic 2 port on the front there as well. On the back, we have the individual gain control for the auxiliary in, outputs in the form of RCA and balanced XLR as well. We can also attenuate the master gain, so 0 dB, -6 dB or -12 dB, depending on how sensitive you need your volume to be. This is a bus powered unit, but once again, as with the DDJ-S1, I will recommend plugging it into the power wherever possible. It's going to give you a much better response with the headphone amps and much better gain control. All in all, it's a really good package from Pioneer. For those looking for the simple interface that Itch offers, the very rock solid interface that Itch offers, this is a fantastic controller. It has all of the fruit, effects, needle search, hot cues, and that very familiar Pioneer CDJ format. So anybody who's looking to transfer from the bedroom to the big room, this is a great controller to get started with, because walking into the club will be a breeze after this. Highly recommended.